Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to cover how to create a pull request, which you guys are going to be doing throughout this entire semester. Alright, so I am logged in as Cool App Developer, which is not my Carolina Kinetic account, and I am going to go and find my other one. So I'm going to look for Cat5 Scouting. So I'm looking for the one that's under Carolina Kinetic, which of course is the main one. Okay, see right here. So I'm going to navigate to it. So you see up here the https github.com Carolina Kinetic Cat5 Scouting. That should look familiar to you by now. Okay, and we are going to fork this repository. So what that means is we are going to make our own copy of it that we can do whatever we want to with it. So we can go in, just change the name, and then change the icon and say, okay, I've got a brand new app, whatever we want to do with it. Okay, so I'm going to fork the repository. Okay, so now you see right here it says Cool App Developer / Cat5 Scouting, and it says that it's forked from Carolina Kinetic Cat5 Scouting. So okay, so this is the new domain, or the new repository, and it's got all the same files, and in fact it even has the history of the original one that we forked from. So you can see all of these changes that I made throughout last semester or last season that I made to the app. So okay, so we're in this new one here. Okay, and so we are going to record this URL because you're going to use it here in a little bit. All right. So now that we've got this repository, we need to go into our Cloud9 and create a new workspace. Okay, so we're going to call it my, all lowercase, my version of the app. Okay, and we can leave that blank. We can leave this blank. We're going to keep that private, and then we are going to clone that new URL. So make sure that you are not cloning Carolina Kinetic / Cat5 Scouting, because that's going to cause problems when you make edits to your code and want to update your repository. Because I'm not going to let you update my repository. You have to update your repository. Alright, so we are going to create the workspace. Alright, and we have our repository here. And now if we go down into the terminal and we do a git status, we're going to see that we are caught up with the repository that we cloned from. Alright, so we're going to go in here and we're going to change the readme.md file, and we're going to call it something. Let's see what we're going to. We're going to say that it's not flexible, but that it's awesome. Okay, hang on a second. I can't edit this. Why can't I edit it? All right. Where is, oh, here's my README. Okay, so this is the rendered version of the README. So this is what it looks like when they see it rendered, and this is the source version. All right, so we're going to call it, instead of a flexible, we're going to call it an awesome, because obviously it was awesome. I mean, hello. All right, so we save, okay, and then if we do a git status down here, we'll see we're no longer the same as what's in the repository, which is what we expected, right? So we git add, and we add those, do a git status again. We see that it's ready to be committed, and then we're going to do a git commit. And normally we do this, right? But when you are in the middle of making big changes, sometimes you want more than one line of text explaining what you've done in what you're committing, right? So in those cases, you're not going to put the -m in the message bind. You're just going to say git commit. And what happens is we get this screen here with this editor, and you can come in here. Now anything with the hash at the beginning won't get saved in there. So basically, you start in here, and what I end up doing is I do this kind of funny thing where I do 1 through 9 and then a space. And so I just really quickly put these in here. And so now you can see I have 50 characters, right? And then 60, 70, and 80. Okay, so your first line is supposed to be under 50 characters. So here we say changes the description in the README. Alright, so we're under 40 characters, right? So that's awesome. Okay, changes Everything's in the present tense. That's just a recommended. They all recommend that, and I can explain to you why it's kind of long and boring. But we keep everything in the present tense. Okay, so we say changes the description of the app to be more accurate and reflective of its awesomeness. All right. So now we have this one is less than 80 characters and this one is less than 50. So we are good. So you see these things down here at the bottom? That's the control and then the letter. So we're going to do a control X. And then it says, do you want to save it? Yes. And then it has a default name. So you hit enter. And what that does is that uses that text that you put in there as the commit statement. So if we do a get status now, oh, no, we need to do a get push, right? So before we do that though, let's take a look at what our remotes are. You can see that this is pointing to the cool app developer URL. So when I push, that's where it's going to go, because that's what it says where it's going to push to. All right. So when we say get push, it's going to prompt me for my cool app developer credentials, which I'm going to go grab right now. Paste that, and it goes and it does its thing. And if we were to go back into our repository and then we refresh it, we will see that we are now 2 commits ahead of where we forked from. And if we went in here, remember it said 69 before, now it says 70 commits. And we go in here, we take a look at this one. Oops, I forgot to delete. Don't forget to delete your numbers, guys. That's just a thing to keep track of how far you're over you're supposed to go. And you see that all of our text is in here. All right. So, or what you can do is you can do a hashtag 234567889 so that doesn't end up in your commit statement. All right. So that is how you create a you fork the repository, then you update it, then you push, right? Next, we need to do a pull request. Okay, so we switch over to the pull request tab. We say new pull request, create pull request, and then we say, please add my awesome, go to your awesome app. And say what you did. You say, I made the read me even better. Okay, so we're telling the owner of the app why you should incorporate that. In your case, you probably don't need to put a whole lot in here. Just a really quick. It doesn't have to be as formal as your commit statement. This is just your hey. This was adding the camera feature or something like that, so that I know what the pull request is about. And then you create the pull request, and then you are done. So now, if I go into my Gmail, okay, I misspoke. It wasn't Gmail. It was my Office 365 account. And so here it describes everything that they're going to get. Now this is actually from an earlier commit that I made to the repository, so you can ignore that. But it says, you know, here's the description that we did in our pull request, and then we can come down here and we can see that there was changes made to the readme.md, and the commit summary is from the one before. This is the first line of the most recent commit, and then this is the one before it. So, of course, if I had remembered to comment this out, we would have gotten the shorter version where I said, you know, that I made the README more accurate. And that's it. So if you guys have any questions, you know where to find me.